Hi, I'm Reverend Sandy Rector, and I'm welcoming you once again to GBMC's Chapel Chat, an opportunity to slow down in the midst of our busy days and take a deep breath, to be grounded and centered and reminded who we are and whose we are. Today, I want to focus on providing care, and I'd like to begin with a paraphrase of a reading from the Gospel according to Matthew 14. Jesus made the disciples get into the boat while he went up to the mountain by himself to pray. And early in the morning, he came walking toward them on the sea. Peter said, "Lord, if it is you, command me to come to you on the water." Jesus said, "Come." So Peter got out of the boat, but when he noticed the strong wind, he became frightened and he began to sink. And he cried out, "Lord, save me." Jesus immediately reached out his hand and caught him. Sometimes I think that understanding how to provide care for others can be a little bit tricky. And I want to throw us back to a time before this pandemic hit when we used to go shopping, perhaps for clothing in a department store. And I think we've all had those experiences where we had the salesperson who just basically hovered over us constantly and wouldn't leave us alone to browse or peruse or provide the help when we wanted it and we needed it. Or maybe we've had that experience where we had exactly what we wanted and no one to help us. We go up, we can't find a cash register with anybody there. We've got everything ready to go and there's no help. Or maybe we've had that time where we kind of knew what we wanted, but we weren't really sure. We just needed a little bit of guidance. Point me in the right direction. Give me a hand. Well, providing care, I think, in a lot of ways can be very similar for people. You know, sometimes when people are not feeling well or not doing well, whether it's physically or emotionally or spiritually, sometimes they just want and need to be left alone so that they can process whatever's going on their own. Sometimes maybe they need a real helping hand. They need the human touch. They need someone to come alongside them and to really be present with them and journey with them. And other times maybe they need something just like this, where perhaps we point you in the right direction or give you a new tool to use and you're off and good to go. In the story from Matthew, I think we find a great example of what it means to care for other people. I think Jesus knew that there were times when people just needed prayers. He went off, left the people by themselves, and he went up to a mountainside to pray. He left them some space and some room to kind of get on with their lives and do what they needed to do. There are times, though, that someone needs us to walk with them through the midst of the storm. And there are times when someone, maybe even we ourselves, are drowning and we actually need to be rescued. And I think inherently we all know that. The tricky part, at least for me at times, is figuring out what someone else needs or even what I need in any particular given moment or situation. And I think Peter in this story gives us a great hint. He asks for what he needs. He lets Jesus know what he needs, and Jesus responds. Now, not everyone is as bold as Peter, and so if someone isn't asking or saying anything and you see that they seem to be troubled, go ahead and ask them, what would be helpful for you right now in the midst of this time? And then respond. Because when we listen, when we truly listen, and when we learn to read the signals and the signs between the lines, then we can give effective and helpful care to others. The care that they need to receive, or perhaps that we need to receive. It can be a great blessing to those who give and to those who receive. So be sure to listen and look for the signals. And if you're in doubt, just ask. Bless you all, and thank you for all that you're doing.